Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. What's happening? What's going on? It's Thursday. It's Thursday. I cannot even believe it's Thursday already. It was just Sunday not too long ago. How are you feeling today? How are you doing? How is the weather where you are? Did you have sun today? It's been raining over here and on the cold side. Um, but you know what? I'm grateful for every day. But I want to come on and say a little something because I have a thought and I want to share that with you guys. I hope when you are looking at this that you're doing okay. You're doing okay because it's important to be doing okay. I am well, um, hanging and holding, trusting God for everything. And to those of you who've not been a part of my community, who stumble on my channel, I also want to say welcome to you, a very pleasant welcome to you as well. My name is Beverly. The name of my channel is Not on My Soapbox, which is not really a soapbox at all. It's simply me sharing my life experiences, the way I've dealt with decisions, where I've succeeded or failed in those decisions. I'm not here to give anybody answers unless you ask me a particular question. Then I will give my 2 cents. I'm just here to share. On this channel, there's no drama. Okay, we're not about pulling down, we're about lifting up each other. I'm depending on you, and hopefully, you can depend on me as well. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to talk about, celebrities or makeup or hair or all that stuff. There are enough channels out there that's doing that. I think my channel is unique unto what I'm trying to do because I'm talking about my experiences and I'm talking about the little things that happen to us on a daily that we don't talk about. Those are the things that I see the need to talk about. That's the way in which God is directing me through this channel. And also, it's about trying to do your best. Trying to do your best and knowing that you have a community, you have a tribe that's here to help you with your life. We're here to celebrate with you, pray with you when you're going through difficulties, to hold your hand, encourage you. If you have announcement you want to make, that can be done on the channel too. You are a part of this as much as I am a part of it, because we are all in this together and I'm not trying to take it all for myself. Every time I have an opportunity, I want to say thank you for subscribing. For those of you who have subscribed, thank you for your words of encouragement. Thank you for your suggestions. Thank you for your questions. Thank you. And I encourage more dialogue on YouTube. I encourage more questions. I encourage more topics for me to talk about. I encourage it all. All right? So, if you happen on here and you like what I'm doing, I also have 45 videos on YouTube already. If you want to be part of this community, it's Beverly Alexander. Even though all my social media pages are on there, it's Beverly Alexander. Take a good look at my face because there are a lot of Beverly Alexanders in YouTube. And go on subscribe. If you have an account, a YouTube account, it's not going to cost you anything additional. Just press the little red button that says subscribe. Put your notification bell on so when I upload a new video, which I try to do every day, I try to upload a video every day. That is not an easy feat, guys. All right? But I have been able to upload a video every day and I'm grateful to God for that. And then if you like what I'm doing, go look at all the videos. Take your time. one. If you like it, boop, press like. You don't like it, press don't like. It's fine. I will not take it personal, I am sure. Hi, Sister Adams. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I will not take it personal if you don't like the video. That's fine, because everything will not apply to you. And if you have a comment, please write your comment. If you have a question, I am open to questions. If you need me to talk about a particular subject, I am open to that as well. Remember, I said that I want to be relevant to you. I'm going to talk about my stuff, but I also want to meet you where you are, so you can be a part of a community that's reaching and meeting your needs also. Good to see you, beloved. I hope your family is well. It's always good to see you. What was I going to say also? Yeah, so here we are. Today's Thursday. I mean, God has blessed us with a new day. A new day. You know what happens? We've had so many new days that we've forgotten that it is a gift. I don't ever want to forget that each day that God gives to me, it is a gift. It's a gift I cannot give myself. It is the best gift. Because as long as you have life, you have purpose, and you have possibilities. And we have been given a new day. A new day. And so we want to celebrate that fact. All right? I'll talk some more with my channel at the end of this video, of course. But I just want to encourage everyone, if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. I need you to subscribe, and I need your comments and all that good stuff. All right. So let me bring my thought to fruition. This is the thought I've been working with today in the form of a question. How do you bounce back from rejection? How do you bounce back from rejection? And I know we've all experienced rejection before. In one form or the other, we all experience. Nobody gets to live and die if you've lived any form of extended life and not experience rejection. It's something that's always gonna be with us. And so, excuse me, I figured, why don't I talk about rejection? It is so evident that we are going to feel rejected, be rejected. It's us living and breathing and changing. So we need to put a face on rejection. We need to put a face on rejection. If you have never experienced rejection, if you have not been rejected in any form, put it in the comment box to me. Let me know that you've never been rejected in your life by anyone or for anything. If that's your experience, I want to hear from it. But then for those of us who've been rejected, right? And also, we have done some rejecting ourselves. We have rejected some ideas and some people and some things, right? And we'll get to that at a different point. And even though I'm talking about how do you bounce back from rejection, I'm only gonna scratch the surface about rejection, because this is a long, extended discussion. Okay, and I'm gonna get more personal in it as I go. But I have to plant the seed first. And so today is planting the seed of rejection. I'm just planting the seed. I'm just going to dig the hole. I'm just going to dig the hole, and maybe I just drop the seed in the hole today. And then over the process of time, we're going to talk about the different types of rejection, because there are different types of rejections. All right, and we'll talk about that to come. So what do you do? How how do you bounce back from rejection? You remember as a little kid, because rejection starts early. It starts early, early in life. Remember when you were a little kid and you would be out playing with your friend? I don't know if it's ever happened to you. I was pretty good at sports growing up. I was really good at sports. And so for the most part, I used to be the captain, right? Because I was really good at cricket and soccer, and I was really good. I had the ability to play sports really well. But do you remember being a kid when you would be outside and you would be out with all your friends and you decide to play a game, and you have someone, there has to be two captains, and then sides have to be chosen. And then, have you ever experienced being rejected, not being chosen for a particular team until it was the very last? And then they're like, okay, I don't have a choice because you're the only one left. Come on over. Right? Do you remember that feeling? Where people didn't really want to choose you if there was another person, and how that made you feel. And you remember being rejected in high school? You remember how mean your teenage friends could be? And you remember that rejection, right? And some of us who growing up who had first love, you remember you remember the feeling of rejection when that love, sivered out, dwindled out. You remember that feeling? You remember that hurt, right? And so rejection is a very, very tangible part of who we are, right? Nobody wants to be left, right? Listen, nobody wants to be rejected. Nobody plans on being rejected. Nobody plans for rejection, right? I remember I was fired from a job also. I remember that rejection. I remember that hurt. It's real. It hurts. There's so many aspects of my life where I have been rejected, and I guarantee you I will get into it in a deeper way, but I'm not getting that deep today. All right? So rejection causes hurt. What's rejection? Rejection is when your idea has been spawned, spurned, when you were not chosen for whatever it is, when someone else was chosen instead of you. Rejection is when if you are not good enough, you feel like you're not good enough, because that's what it really means. That what you have to offer and who you are is not good enough because I want something else, right? That may not be the case, but that's how rejection feels. That's how rejection feels. Nobody wants to be rejected, but eventually everybody goes through rejection. And I wrote some things down here because I didn't want to miss this topic, because this topic is very important to me. It's very, very important to me. So don't mind me. I'm going to read something here. I'm going to read off of my paper what I wrote down about rejection, because this is important. As I said, rejection is a dismissal, being dismissed from a situation. It could be from a marriage, it could be from relationship, it could be from a job, it could be from your friends. Listen, anytime your essence, your style, your word or stuff was no longer needed, for whatever reason, right or wrong, right or wrong, rejection has taken place. Okay? And rejection does something to you. Rejection causes a cascade of emotions, right? Rejection can increase your anger. You know, you have ever been rejected, and the pain and the anger and the resentment, nothing good comes out of rejection at the time you're being rejected. Nobody gets rejected and say, "Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm glad that I'm not enough. I'm glad you don't love me anymore. I'm glad you don't need my services anymore." Nobody says that when they're being rejected, because nobody wants to be left behind. Nobody wants to feel rejected. Everybody wants to feel needed. So we are going to experience rejection. And we are going to feel that tumult in our minds and in our hearts. It's a real thing, right? Sometimes because of the type of rejection you've experienced, it can bring depression, right? It can bring depression. If it's a relational kind of rejection, it can bring depression because there's an adjustment that has to take place. And sometimes the type of rejection, it can also bring jealousy. Right? Why that person not me? Why them are not me? Why their stuff are not my stuff? It can bring jealousy. My stuff is just good enough. Right? I'm just as good as he is. I'm just as good as she is. You know? Jealousy, anger, depression. Right? And also it can bring sadness. It can bring sadness because, like I said before, nobody is raising their hand, standing in line to be rejected. Nobody is saying, "Reject me, reject me, reject me." Nobody wants to be rejected. Everybody wants to be included. And then rejection brings pain and hurts and suffering, right? And it brings a broken heart according to what type of rejection. Because remember I said there are different types of rejection. Relationship rejection, I think we've all suffered that, or we all head into that one way or the other. That brings pain in our hearts, in our bodies, in our souls, in our spirit, right? And so nobody is rushing for that. But it's something that we all going to experience at one time or the other. So this is my question again. How do you bounce back from rejection? Well, we all going to experience it. If you haven't yet, we all going to experience it. So let's talk about it. Because trust me, as long as we're living, we're not done experiencing rejection. More rejection is coming. As long as you're living, more rejection is coming. So how can we brace ourselves for rejection? How do you deal with your rejection? How have you bounced back from your rejection? Look, it's okay to be rejected because you will be rejected. But you have to put something in place if you haven't put it in place already. What I will do when I get rejected in the future. I want to know what you have done when you were rejected before. I want to hear those comments because I really want to know how people deal with their rejection. And I'll talk to you about mine. But I want to hear about how you deal with yours. And so since rejection is coming, and in order for us to be healthy and to move about this life with our eyes wide open, we need to put something in place if it's not in place. Because that which a person doesn't acknowledge, she cannot fix or change. We have to be able to put a face on the things that we are feeling and experiencing. All right? So, how do you deal with rejection? I'm going to tell you about how I deal with my rejection. I listed a bunch of things because I have been rejected, guys. I have been rejected in ways that it took me years to just allow my mind to wrap around the rejection. Because some rejection can be so devastating. It will take you a long time to wrap your mind around it. You hear what I'm saying to you? Some rejection can send you into a tailspin. Some rejection can turn you around. Some rejection can confuse your whole life, where you have to stop and intake and figure out what just happened. That's how stressful some types of rejection can be. So how do I deal with my rejection? How have I dealt with my rejection? And like I said, I want to hear how you deal with yours. First I try to do is I try to understand that the rejection that I'm feeling, and some more than others, is very painful. You have to acknowledge from the rejection what you're feeling. Some rejection, like I said, is so painful that sometimes you're not able to bear it by yourself. So painful. So I have been rejected sometimes that I wasn't able to bear by myself. So I had to solicit the help of some close friends or some family. And I had to elicit some help, always from God, you know, so that I can read His words and I can speak to Him through prayers, and He can speak to me through His word, through the Spirit, to help me to understand what's going on. Sometimes some rejection just knocks you off of your feet, that you need added help, added support. And so through the prayer and through the word and through God, I realize that this rejection is so painful. And practically, if not all rejection, unless you have a different plan, all rejections, I want to say, let's say 99.9% of rejections are painful. Okay, let's just say that. All right, and so what I do, I always try to go to God and pray and search His word and see how I ought to conduct myself. But I have to acknowledge, because I am also flesh, I have to acknowledge that I am feeling pain. Yes, I'm a Christian, but I'm feeling pain. Hi, Sister Roberts. Welcome. Always good to see you, beloved. Yes, my rejection is causing me pain, and I have to acknowledge that rejection is causing me pain. For some of us as Christians, we don't want to admit that we are feeling bodily pain. We are feeling stressed. No, we are human beings. We are mind, we are body, and we are spirit, we are soul, and we are flesh. We're three parts. And we have to acknowledge these things. It doesn't make us without faith less faithful. We have to attend to these things. The three parts of us has different functions. And we have to admit that when we've been rejected, that rejection causes us pain according to the type of rejection. Today, Sister Roberts, we are talking about how do you bounce back from rejection? How do you bounce back from having been rejected? Because we know everybody, if you live any time in this world, you will be rejected by someone, a company, something at some time. Nobody gets out of life without being rejected. And so the first thing I say that I do is that I acknowledge the pain that rejection is causing me. Because that which a person doesn't acknowledge, nor can she fix or change. So the first thing I would acknowledge is, that rejection is giving me pain, making me anxious, making me nauseous, making me feel sad. Whatever is the reaction I'm feeling, I acknowledge those feelings. It could be sadness, it could be depression, it could be madness, it could be resentment, but I always acknowledge what I am feeling, because it's very important to put a face on what's going through. And then the next thing I look at is I allow myself to process. I allow myself to process what I'm feeling. I allow myself to process my pains, my frustrations, my hurts, my anger, my depression. I allow myself the opportunity. Bev, why are you feeling so sad? Why are you feeling so bad? I talk about it because it's important to put a face on what I am feeling. And I ask myself all these questions. Why are you so depressed? Because somebody rejected you. Because somebody didn't acknowledge what you were doing. Why are you so mad? Where is this jealousy coming from? I talk to myself about my stuff because I do not want to walk around with my head in the sand. If I am feeling some type of emotions, I want to know why. I want to know where it comes from. I want to know what's responsible for it. And I want to know how I can take care of it. This is me bouncing back from rejection. The question is, how do you bounce back when you've been rejected? What's the tools that you use? How do you go about it? All right? And then I allow myself to heal. I allow my bruised ego to heal. You know how I allow my bruised ego to heal? Because my ego has been crushed. I have been rejected. My ego has been crushed. I have an ego. You have an ego too. We have the biggest egos. And I allow my bruised ego to be healed by listening to God's words. You hear? By saying worthy words about myself. Bev, you are okay. You are all that and a bag of chips. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Beverly, this too will pass. Beverly, it's okay. When God closes one door, He opens 2, 3, or 4 more. I tell myself some things that I can get myself out of that depressive mode. I reaffirm all the goodness about me. Bev, you are kind. You are wonderful. You are loving. You are a good friend. You are a child of God. You've been set free. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. God loves you and you can love others. I tell myself good words. What do you do when you experience rejection? So I fill myself up with positive affirmations. You hear what I'm saying to you? Because rejection, nobody enjoys being rejected. Nobody loves being rejected. So in my process, after I realize that I've been hurt and I'm all messed up and I talk to God about my feelings, then I allow God to talk to me. That God, Beverly, God knew you before you were born. That God had a purpose for you that you don't even know. And God has you here today because you are still in his purpose. And like Sister Adam says, people will reject you, but God's not going to reject you. Hallelujah! God's not going to reject you. And even though I know God's not going to reject me, when I'm rejected by people, it still hurts because I'm a human being. But then I know as long as God doesn't reject me, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. And so I tell myself all these affirmations that makes me feel good, that helps me get over my rejection, that eases the pain, because the pain is real. The pain is real, right? And then you have to acknowledge, you have to examine, what did you do? What role did you play in this rejection? Yeah. You have to acknowledge what role did you play, because sometimes we are responsible for the rejection that we have gotten. It still hurts because nobody wants to be rejected, but sometimes our behavior causes us to be rejected. And we have to acknowledge, you know what? If I had done better, if I was on time for the job, if I had shown more interest, if I had listened to the requirements, if I had done certain things, I would not have been rejected. And sometimes you can do all of that stuff and still be rejected. But I'm saying you have to be honest and say, what did I do to contribute to this rejection? If you're going to be honest. If you're going to be honest, you got to say, what did I do? What part did I play? And you got to take it. If you didn't give your 105 and you rejected on a job, you have to say, you know what? My bad. Going forward, I will be more blah, 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 blah. Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. Because sometimes we contribute to our own rejection. And if you have been rejected in relationships, sometimes you're part of that problem also. And sometimes people just don't want you anymore. Sometimes people just don't want you anymore. But at least you have to admit where you stand, what part you have played. That's how I deal with my rejection, because I've lived long enough to have had many rejections in my life. I remember I said I'm not getting into rejection itself. I'm just talking about the bounce back, because the time will come and I'll talk about all that stuff. And then whatever the case is, you can't beat yourself up too much. You can't beat yourself up too much. Even if you participated in your rejection, you can't beat yourself up too much, because all you have is oneself. You always got to love and cherish yourself. Okay, and if you mess up, you can have regrets for the rest of your life. You've messed up and you're going to beat yourself up for the rest of your life. No. Yes, I mess up. But I'm going to forgive myself. We forgive everybody else. Why don't we forgive ourselves? That's my process. When I mess up and I say, ah, that was my bad. I got to eat that. I got to eat that. But you know, I'm not staying there wallowing in that. No, I'm a kiss myself. I'm a wash my face. I'm a comb my hair. I'm a change my clothes, and I'm gonna be out there hustling again. Because that's how you learn. So you can't beat yourself up too much. That's how I process my rejections. That's how I process my rejection. And that could work for any type of rejection. And of course, some rejections are more difficult. And I'll talk about those too. Not today, but I'll talk about those too. I just want to talk about rejection in a little, that rejection is so, we shouldn't take rejection lightly. Because it says that the same type of brain area that experiences pain is the same type of brain area that deals with rejection. Rejection can really mess us up. It really can. Rejection can really mess us up because it does something to our psyche. It does something to our person. It does something to our bodies, to our spirit, and to our souls if we're not careful. And so it's a serious matter. And so we need to have the tools how to deal with it. And I tell you how I deal with mine. And I want you to tell me how you deal with yours. And I see Sister Robert has something here, but I can't read it right now, Sister Robert. But I promise you I will respond to it when I'm finished with my video. It says, have you ever broken a bone? Have you ever broken a bone? A little over 6 months or so. I broke my left foot. I broke my left foot in a very simple, freakish way. I broke my left foot. Never broke a bone, 50-something years. And here I am in a split second, in a space, slipping from that space. 6 inches, 8 inches, boop, falling, breaking my foot. Breaking my foot instantaneously. If you have never broken a bone, I cannot even understand. I can't even explain the pain. I cannot even explain the pain one experiences. It feels like where the bone is broken, but I think the pain was in my head. The pain was so excruciating. It was so excruciating that I didn't know, even though it was my foot I broke, I didn't know what to do, what to feel, because the pain was so big. The pain was so big and I needed some help. I couldn't just fix my foot and be on my way. I had a broken bone. Quick. And I needed help. And so I had to go to the emergency room. I need to call my friend Mash. I say, Mash, I fell. I think something wrong with my foot. I didn't want to say broken because I didn't want to even imagine or think about all that I had to go through where that was concerned. And I said, I need your help to take me to the hospital. And in a lickety split, she came over, put aside all her stuff, came over. And sure enough, in the emergency room, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even walk. And then they had to reset. Wait a minute. They had to reset my bone. Reset my bone. And I'm telling you, to reset my bone took longer and was more excruciating than when I broke that bone, because the process is a long, painful process. And several times I thought I was just gonna faint away because it was so painful. But I'll talk about that some more. I just want to paint a picture where that's concerned, but I'll talk about that some more. So can you imagine, this is the same part of your brain that activates pain when you have a broken limb. It's the same part of your brain that deals with rejection. So rejection is real. And it all depends on the type of rejection. And if you don't have the tools to deal with your rejection, it can become problematic. A lot of us are walking around who've been rejected, and we don't know where to put our feelings. We don't know what to do. We don't know why we're depressed. We don't know why we're mad. We don't know why we feel because we haven't put a face on our rejection. We cannot believe that something that happened to me 10 years ago is still affecting me today. We don't have the tools. We haven't been given the tools. Nobody talked about it. So we don't know. We're just trying to survive. On this channel, we don't want to survive. We want to live with our eyes wide open. We want to be purposeful, mindful. We want to deal with our stuff. We want to get the tools so we can be healthy. So a lot of us who've been rejected, we are walking around with that same type of pain, being depressed, being hurt, being resentful, jealous. We have it all. We have to find a way to deal with that stuff because it doesn't go away. We had it a way to survive, and every now and again it just seeps out, and we start cussing out and acting out and hiding out and binge watching and all that stuff because we don't know what's the matter. And I will talk about that stuff some more. Right? We have to deal with our rejection because it's something that's happened to us that's causing us great stress. So there are all types of rejections, and it's painful. We have to acknowledge it. We have to figure out how we're going to deal with it. We got to see what part we've played, and we've got to allow ourselves some good affirmation. So that's about rejection because it's part of our lives, and we'll talk about that. So that's what I have. Remember, I am not here to give answers. I am here to get you to think about what's happening in your life. So that's what I have in my heart. How do you deal with your rejection? I told you how I deal with mine. Listen, I'm only trying to get better. You know, I wrote something down, a rejection quote. It says, a rejection gives you more power to push through. That's a good side of rejection. Okay, and I'll talk about it at some point too. Rejection gives you more power to push through. When you've analyzed it and understand it and accept it for what it is, now you have the ability to push through when you go through rejection again. So there are some good things about rejection after you figured it out. After you figure it out, when you stop feeling sorry for yourself, oh me, oh my, it's always me, when you walk through it, you get power to overcome the next time. You see how that works? So you're going to be down in the dumps. It's hard, but when you come through, you'll be better for it. Everything in life will bring you a lesson if you allow it. Everything in life will allow you to learn something from it one way or the other if you allow it. The trouble is we stay in our feelings and we miss the lesson. We stay in our feelings and we miss the lesson. Sometimes we've got to learn to come out of our feelings and get the lesson. All right? So that's what I got. It's pretty simple. How do you bounce back from rejection? Because it's part of our lives. It's part of our lives. I want to hear how you bounce back. I love you. That's all I have. I'm not going to yell and scream at you today. That's all I got for you. You know I love you. You know I come in love. I come in peace. I'm not here to take away from you. I'm here to add to what you already have. You know, let's give our 105. You know why? Because now is all we really have. Let's be the best mom we can be. Let's be the best sister. Let's be the best friend. Let's be the best person you know. Let's be the best person you know. I have a question for you, and I'm going to always ask this question going forward. How were you great today? Put it in the comment. How were you great today? What did you do to show your greatness? Tell me about it. Because God gave us a new day and we had a day to be better. So how were you great today? And maybe one day that'll be a subject matter that I talk on. Every day remind me to ask a question. How were you great today? So no regrets. No remorse. No excuses. Let's give it our best try every time. Every time. Okay? Guys, I need your support. If you love what I'm doing, subscribe. If you love what I'm doing, tell a friend. If you love what I'm doing, tell your sister. Because I guarantee you, if you get a blessing, they can too. We look at everything else. You see what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to elevate us, bring us up. As I come up, listen, if you up, pull me up. As I come up, I'm going to pull others up. Let's pull each other up together because this is our community. You are my tribe. You are my community. You are my people. I'm depending on you, and hopefully you're depending on me too. My pledge is to speak more sweetly, to love more deeply, to show more kindness, to be more considerate. My pledge is to be like Jesus. You come on this channel, Jesus. That's it. To be like Jesus. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this. So all my social media pages are on there, on this YouTube, on this Facebook are there. Press YouTube. Go there and subscribe. Beverly Alexander. On Instagram, on Twitter is Rock Council. YouTube, Beverly Alexander. And if you're looking at me on Facebook, great. But I need you to go to YouTube and make your comments. Listen, I appreciate your encouragement. I appreciate your subscribing. I appreciate your love. I appreciate your support. I see you. And none of this is lost on me. None of it is lost on me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for blessing me, and I pray that I'm blessing you also. Listen, enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy your family. Say a prayer for me as I say a prayer for you. Listen, if you rock with me, guess what? I'm going to rock right back with you. And when I get a blessing, guess what? You get one too. All right? So let's keep loving. Let's keep being kind. Let's keep moving forward. Let's keep making God proud. I'll see you soon. soon. I love you. I do love you to bits and pieces. Love you to life. Love you, love you, love you. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye.